Today, I'm gonna build a LEGO Microscale Japanese landscape. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here we have a samurai minifigure, but actually today we are not gonna build in minifigure scale, but in microscale. You should be familiar with my series of microscale habitats. The nicest one and the first one that I built was this very cool Japanese landscape, and today I'm gonna try to expand that idea into a bigger build. So let's move this on the side, and let's start from the base. I had a brick frame over here, and already I built a little bit of landscape with light gray, sand green, and olive green. Here I built sideways with some bricks, this water feature on the front. We are gonna add a little bit of extra landscape over here so that we have some interesting diagonal lines, and you can see I already add a big sort of cherry blossom tree. This is gonna be connected like this so I can give a little bit of an interesting angle. And over here we're gonna add a boat. I'm gonna use this minifigure Epaulet, and I'm gonna keep it together with something brown in the middle to make it look like a boat riding on this sort of river. Now over here we're gonna complete the base of what will be the waterfall. So again I built sideways. Here I mix this shade of blue with some white to create the effect of some water eating and create some foam, some bubbles at the end of the waterfall. Over here I'm gonna add a sort of torii gate, not like the one that I built previously in the first iteration of this Japanese landscape, the habitat one, but I'm gonna have a base in black with red on top, and then I'm gonna sit a jumper in between those with another Epaulet in red on top, and here we have a very interesting microscale torii gate. Now from here I'm gonna build a cliff. So my idea is to have a little bit of a forced perspective so that from this kind of size we are gonna shrink a little bit in the background. So here I build up. I'm gonna connect to these studs at the back here, like so. So you can see already we have a big waterfall coming down here, and you can see the trees are already a little bit smaller. Here we have an example. So we have this older kind of trees. We are gonna add one over here. So let's say this is the second line of sight in which the perspective gets a little bit smaller. But now let's fill up the gap a little bit. And over here you can see I'm using some sausage because I'm planning to build a bridge. So here is the structure. This is the one that mirrors the right side. We are gonna connect this over here. And now we have the space to just sit a tile on top to have a red bridge created with some sausage pieces. Now, because I'm planning to submit this to a classic castle category contest, the category is one that has to have a castle with a water feature. So I'm gonna have a lot of smaller kind of waterfalls. Over here you can see I have a gap that I'm gonna fill with this bracket and two lines of plates and tiles so that we create another small waterfall on the right side, again with some white towards the end of the waterfall. And we're gonna continue with this pattern over there. So here we have a little bit of a bigger one. So here I have a bigger chunk. This time I decided to go for a 2 wide because it's a little bit nearer. So this is gonna be a little bit of a bigger waterfall over here. And here we can just use, for example, a tile to create the effect of the waterfall hitting the river on top here. So you can see the effect is already pretty nice and colorful. But we're gonna continue to add a little bit more details, even here to fill up that gap over there. We're gonna create another waterfall on the top, like this. This is gonna connect over here on the side. So this is the same technique that I used there with the rounded tile on top to create the effect of the waterfall coming down. And here we're gonna add another one. This time we are gonna add it on an angle, like so. So now we have an interesting corner here with 2 small waterfalls going to the big one on the right, a smaller one here, and then a big one that go all the way to the bottom. Now, as I said, I need to build a castle surrounded by this water feature. So I'm gonna also submit this build to Brickscalibur, the microscale category for this year. So I'm gonna build a castle over there on top. By the way, if you like to watch builds from Brickscalibur, I recommend you to check out my series of custom wizard that I built for the Fig Barf category. Now, here at the front, we are gonna add a little bit of additional rocks that come outwards on top of the bridge. And here in this dark tan, we have the base of what will be the castle on top with a little bit of greenery on top. There's not much details here, but now you will see the next part that I'm gonna add is the main part of the castle. So the idea is build something similar to the Himeji castle. You might be familiar with it if you follow LEGO releases recently. Here I have some piano tiles to create some sort of doors at the front of the castle. And you can see I use some angle stud here at the back to place these corner tiles on an interesting angle to create a distinctive roof. This is gonna connect back there, keep everything into place, and you can see that already starting to take shape. Of course, it's not finished. I'm gonna add a couple of layers on top. So here I'm using some letters to create a little bit of an interesting background, window, banners kind of thing on the side with another black roof. And then we're gonna top with a round one. And here we have some jumper. And the last roof is actually a rollerblade piece. So I think that one is pretty interesting. Over on this side, we are going to use another angle stud to connect, actually not connect, to just sit on an interesting angle this plate to create an additional roof. And then we can add a smaller structure on the other side of the waterfall. I don't have this in black, but I think in dark gray works anyway. And then over here, I want to have also the castle to continue on top of the waterfall. So we have a sort of bridging kind of structure that connects like so. So this part of the castle is going over the water over there and then extend on top again with the skate, the rollerblade piece, and over here a little bit of additional greenery. The back, of course, is not very interesting, but from, let's say, 3 sides, this build, I think, is probably my best microscale build in a long time. The only thing that I don't like much is that I have a little bit of additional gaps on both sides here, and also over here I have a little bit of gaps in between the tiles of the black frame. Now, let me know in the comments down below what do you think about this build. That is going to be my last build, of course, for 2023. If you like Japanese build, I recommend you, if you like minifigure scale, to watch the Santa going to the onsen build that I built last week and is already on my channel. Otherwise, if you like microscale, you can go and check out this video on the left, which is my microscale version of the Tranquil Garden Lego set. Thank you very much for watching. Happy New Year, and I will see you in 2024 with some new cool Lego MOCs. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.